The Lord is merciful. He shows us mercy by not giving us what we deserve, which is immediate physical death. It is immediate spiritual death or separation from Him for all of eternity. That is God's mercy to us as His saints. And the Lord gives us grace by giving us what we don't deserve. And that is His love and His forgiveness and the promise of eternity with Him, knowing that He is with us now until we enter eternity beyond this life. When Pilate was examining Jesus to find out basically what he was guilty of, he finds that Jesus is innocent. He finds no room for charges against him. But because of the pressure of the crowds, Pilate ends up showing mercy and grace to Barabbas, which in that case was the wrong thing to do. So Pilate instead punishes the innocent, being Jesus. He does that. He punishes him, and Jesus is punished for you and for me. He's sentenced to death on a cross, my cross and your cross. Let's read together in Luke chapter 23, starting in verse 13. Pilate then called together the chief priests and the rulers and the people and said to them, "You brought me this man as one who is misleading the people. And after examining him before you, behold, I did not find this man guilty of any of your charges against him. Neither did Herod, for he sent him back to us. Look, nothing deserving death has been done by him. I will therefore punish and release him." But they all cried out together, "Away with this man, and release to us Barabbas," a man who had been thrown into prison for an insurrection started in the city and for murder. Pilate addressed them once more, desiring to release Jesus, but they kept shouting, "Crucify, crucify him." A third time he said to them, "Why? What evil has he done? I have found in him no guilt deserving death. I will therefore punish and release him." But they were urgent, demanding with loud cries that he should be crucified, and their voices prevailed. So Pilate decided that their demand should be granted. He released the man who'd been thrown into prison for insurrection and murder, for whom they had asked, but he delivered Jesus over to their will. And we know the story goes on that Jesus suffers terribly for us on that cross, and he ultimately dies on that cross. Thankfully, the story doesn't end there, because he is raised to life. He is resurrected, and he goes to be with the Father. But at this point, with Pilate, Barabbas is now free in the natural. He can go back out in society, do what he wants. If he wants to go start another insurrection and be involved in murder, he could. But he is still bound spiritually. He has the opportunity to follow Christ at this point. We don't know. The Word doesn't tell us what Barabbas goes on to do or not do. But Barabbas is a picture of us. Each and every one of us, when we encounter, each and every one of us in those people that we encounter, we have that same opportunity to follow Jesus, to receive His mercy so we don't get what we deserve, which is that physical death and that spiritual death of separation from Him in eternity. And instead, we get His grace, that Jesus' righteousness is imputed to us. We receive it as though we had done it because He's given it to us. And we are promised forgiveness of our sins and eternity with Him. So what happened with Barabbas is really a picture of every human without Christ. When we share Jesus with someone, we tell them about who it is that we love and who it is that we follow. They have an opportunity to follow Him as well. It doesn't mean all their earthly circumstances will just immediately be taken care of then. And we should not promise that when we share Jesus with people, because we will suffer for following Jesus. But at that point where they choose to follow Jesus, where they choose to receive Him as their Lord, they have hope of eternity with Him. And oftentimes we'll see the earthly circumstances, some immediately begin to unwind and things come back together, and over time as well. I can think of a story of a good brother we know that was in prison, found The Lord in prison was awaiting his sentence, hadn't really been tried for his crime yet, but was in kind of a longer term hold. And miraculously, one day the guards came in and said, "You're free to go." And nothing more happened to him after that. He's continuing to follow the Lord. But it doesn't always happen that way. They are free, though. Even if still bound in that prison cell, that man would be free because he would have Christ for eternity. Let's be those who share the good news with those around us. God bless you as you do that. Have a great day.